There is a reason French women over 60 walk into a room and the air in it shifts. It is not the label on their jacket. It is not a recent blowout or a new shade of lipstick. It is not money, although many people assume it is. It is something far more specific than that. There is a 7-part code, quietly passed from mother to daughter in Paris apartments, in dressing rooms in the Marais, and in the specific way a Parisian stands at a mirror and decides what to remove before she walks out the door. Most women outside France have never been told this code exists. And the reason you may have spent years feeling like something was missing from your wardrobe without being able to name what it was is that no one taught you the rules French women learn before they ever buy their first adult piece of clothing. Today, we are going to change that. These are 7 genius French styling hacks that make women over 60 look 10 times more expensive, and not one of them requires you to spend more money. Hack 1. They never add, they subtract. The most expensive thing a French woman over 60 wears is the thing she left at home. This sounds simple. It is not. Every morning, the instinct most of us have is to complete an outfit, to add the necklace, the scarf, the cardigan, the belt. The French instinct is the opposite. You dress, and then you stand at the mirror and you remove one thing. Not because the piece is wrong, because the outfit is already finished and the extra piece is noise. This rule has a name in France, and it originates with Coco Chanel, who famously advised that before a woman leaves the house, she should remove one accessory. Chanel built this idea into the foundation of French elegance itself, that restraint is the most expensive signal a woman can send. The stylist Inès de la Fressange, one of the great modern interpreters of Parisian style, later made it central to her own philosophy as well. When everything on a woman's body has been deliberately chosen, and nothing is there by accident or habit, she looks expensive, not because the clothes cost more, but because the eye can settle on each piece and understand it. The opposite is also true. When there are too many elements competing, the outfit reads as insecure. The viewer senses that the wearer was not quite sure whether any single piece was enough, so she added more. French women are taught to trust the piece, to let it work, to leave it alone. Tonight, try this. Dress the way you normally would, then stand at the mirror and remove one thing. The result will feel wrong for about 30 seconds, and then it will feel right in a way that is difficult to describe. Hack 2. They treat proportion as the primary decision, not color. Ask most women what the most important styling decision they make each morning is, and they will say, color. Does this go with that? Are these shades clashing? French women do not start with color, they start with body proportion. Before anything else, a Parisian over 60 has an almost architectural awareness of her body proportions, where her waist sits, where the hem of her top ends relative to her hip, and how the width of her trouser leg relates to the volume of what she is wearing above it. These decisions are made before color enters the conversation at all. The reason this matters is that proportion is what the camera and the eye reads first. An outfit with perfect proportions and imperfect color looks expensive. An outfit with perfect color and wrong proportions does not. The structure of the silhouette is what creates the impression of intentionality and wealth. Color is noticed second. French women over 60 are particularly precise about this because their bodies have changed, and they know it, and they have made peace with it in a way that becomes its own kind of elegance. They are not dressing to hide, they are dressing to create a silhouette. If the trouser is wide, the top is fitted. If the skirt is full, the blouse is tucked and narrow. If the blazer is oversized, the trouser is slim. The equation is always balance, and balance always reads as expensive. Hack 3. They own the concept of the signature piece. Every French woman of a certain age has a signature, not a trend, not a seasonal color, a single piece or category of piece that she has worn so consistently for so long that it has become associated with her specifically. For one woman, it is a perfectly cut navy blazer. For another, it is a silk scarf tied in a specific way. For another, it is the Breton stripe, that marinière in navy and white that has been a cornerstone of French style for over a century, worn in her specific way, with her specific pieces, until it stops being a classic and becomes hers. For another, it is a very specific shade of burgundy that she wears in some form almost every day. For another, it is a pair of loafers she has had for 11 years and has been resold twice. The signature does two things. First, it eliminates decision fatigue. She does not have to reinvent herself each morning because she already knows who she is. And that certainty, that lack of effort, is what reads as taste. But the second thing the signature does is more important. It trains the eye of everyone around her to associate a visual language with her specifically. Over time, she becomes the woman who wears that color, or that cut, or that fabric. And that association is worth more than any single expensive piece because it communicates that she has a point of view. She is not following anything. She has already arrived. The question to ask yourself is this: if someone described your personal style to a stranger, what would they say? If the answer is unclear, that is exactly where to start. Hack 4. They use fabric as their most expensive signal. French women over 60 are extraordinarily specific about fabric, and they will tell you exactly why. Cheap fabric moves differently to expensive fabric. Under camera, under light, and across a room, it reads differently. A polyester blouse catches light in a flat, surface-level way. Silk, linen, and wool move with the body and catch light from within. The result is that fabric communicates price before a single label is seen. The specific fabrics a French woman over 60 gravitates toward are not necessarily the most expensive ones. They are the ones that drape well and age well. Real linen, even unironed, has an inherent quality to it that reads as considered. A fine knit in merino or cashmere has a weight to it that registers as expensive at a distance. A silk blouse, even a simple one, elevates whatever it is paired with simply by virtue of how it moves. The hack here is not to buy expensive fabric. It is to remove cheap fabric. The principle is simple. Prioritize natural fibers. Go to your wardrobe and pull out anything in polyester, acrylic, or viscose that has lost its shape. These are the pieces quietly working against you. Replace them, one by one, not with expensive equivalents, but with natural fiber equivalents. The result will be a wardrobe that reads as expensive by default, because the baseline quality of everything in it has lifted. Hack 5. They never match. They coordinate. This is a rule so specific and so counterintuitive that most women outside France have never heard it articulated clearly. Matching is not the same as coordinating. Matching means the bag is the same color as the shoes, and the shoes echo the piping on the jacket, and the belt anchors the whole palette together. This approach was considered the height of elegance in the 1960s. French women over 60 will tell you it has not been considered elegant since. Coordinating means selecting pieces that share a relationship, but not an identity. The colors exist in the same tonal family without being the same color. The textures complement without repeating. The overall effect is one of harmony rather than precision. The distinction matters because matching reads as effort. It reads as someone who planned very carefully to look put together. Coordinating reads as instinct. It reads as someone for whom this kind of visual intelligence is simply how she moves through the world, without effort. When you are building an outfit, allow one piece to be slightly unexpected. Not jarring, but not an obvious match either. A camel trouser with a soft white blouse and a bag and a warm cognac, not the same camel. A navy dress with shoes and a deep forest green, not navy. The difference is subtle, and it is everything. Hack 6. They invest in fit above everything else. There is no French woman of 60 who would wear a piece that does not fit her correctly, regardless of how much it cost or how much she loves it in theory. This is the single most repeated piece of advice from Parisian stylists, and it is the one most consistently ignored outside France. The reason it is ignored is that tailoring costs money and takes time. And most women have been conditioned to think of clothing as something finished that they either fit into or do not. French women think of clothing as a starting point. The piece arrives, and then it goes to a tailor for alterations, a hem taken up, a waist taken in, a sleeve shortened. These alterations cost very little relative to the garment, but the effect is total. A $40 blouse that has been properly tailored looks more expensive than a $400 blouse that gapes at the shoulder or pulls across the bust. The specific areas French women are most precise about are the shoulder seam, which must sit at the exact edge of the shoulder and no further, the sleeve length, which for a blouse should break just at the wrist and for a jacket should show a centimeter of the shirt beneath, and the trouser break, which should be minimal, with almost no pooling of fabric at the ankle. These 3 tailoring adjustments alone, applied consistently, will transform how every piece in your wardrobe reads. Hack 7. They protect their palette like a personal trademark. The final piece of the code is the one most people never reach because it requires a kind of clarity about yourself that takes time to develop. French women over 60 have a color palette. Many stylists would call it the foundation of a true capsule wardrobe, and they do not deviate from it. It is usually small, 3 to 5 core colors, often built around neutrals, and it has been refined over decades using an intuitive understanding of color theory, which tones sit harmoniously together, which ones fight. They do not buy outside it, not because they are rigid, but because they understand that a coherent palette is the visual equivalent of a consistent voice. It is immediately recognizable. It is immediately trustworthy. The way this reads to the outside eye is significant. When every piece a woman wears seems to naturally exist in the same visual world, she looks like someone who knows exactly who she is, and there is nothing that reads as more expensive than that kind of certainty. To build your own palette, start by looking at the 5 pieces in your wardrobe you reach for most often, without thinking. Not the ones you think you should wear, the ones you actually wear. The colors that appear most frequently across those 5 pieces are your true palette. Build from there and stop buying outside it. Those are the 7 parts of the code. Subtract before you add. Build for proportion before color. Find your signature and trust it. Upgrade your fabric. Coordinate, never match. Fit everything. Protect your palette. None of it costs money. All of it costs attention. If you want to go deeper on any single one of these hacks, the most important video on this channel is probably the one on the 7 pieces French women only ever wear, and I will leave that linked for you now. And if this video gave you something, the most useful thing you can do is share it with one woman you know who would appreciate it. That is genuinely what keeps this channel going. I will see you in the next one.